Hey everybody, welcome back to Experience Points, a less formal, more laid-back sort of video series where I talk about games that I've played a bit of but not yet finished. And today we're taking a look at Eiyuden Chronicle Hundred Heroes. This is a game by Rabbit and Bear Studios, which is comprised of staff behind the original releases of Suikoden, including the late and great Yoshitaka Murayama and also Junko Kawano, and other staff that you may be familiar with if you were at all a Suikoden fan back in the day. These are, as far as I'm concerned, the duo who really made Suikoden what it is and the legend that it was at the time. They were behind Suikoden 1, Suikoden 2, Suikoden 3, and then just Kawano was behind 4 and 5 to my recollection. This is a little impromptu, all off the cuff, so I might get some of the details wrong because I haven't looked at this to research this for a while. But from my time playing Suikoden 1 through 5 and those reviews, I'm pretty sure that that's accurate. Now, I want to tell you that this game is very much like Suikoden. It is a spiritual successor to Suikoden. It is a love letter to the fans of Suikoden from the original creators. It is the one last big hurrah of the creator Yoshitaka Murayama before his unfortunately timed passing right prior to the game's release. So as a result, there's a lot of emotion, tied up in this whole game. And as a result, I think it's going to be really difficult to look at what's happened here, what they've created here with any sort of objectivity. But I'll do my best. I'll do my best to just separate the game from all of the hype that has been surrounding this most kick-started game ever. I will do my best to separate it from the creator and their circumstances at this point, and just try to take a look at the game as it is. I should also disclose that I did make a video about this title not too long ago that was sponsored by Rabbit and Bear Studios and 505 Games. So this video is not sponsored. It's not being reviewed by Rabbit and Bear Studios. So just a full disclosure, but this review is not sponsored. Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes is a love letter to fans of Suikoden. And I think that first and foremost, it is made for fans of Suikoden. If you played Suikoden and you didn't love it, why are you even here? But if you loved Suikoden, I think you will really enjoy this new title, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. The game starts off with 3 protagonists. It takes a little while before you are introduced to the third, but essentially you are building an army, you're building a base, you are working to take the power back. It's a pretty classic Suikoden thing, and the 100 Heroes is an allusion to the maybe 108 Stars of Destiny as outlined in, the water basically the ancient Chinese story that inspired and informed Suikoden is also being used. The water margin, again, not researched, all off the cuff of just what I remember from years ago. I'm pretty sure it's not the water monitor. Uh, water margin, I think, might be the one. But 100 Heroes is where you're going to be recruiting a lot of different characters to fill in different spots of not just your party, but also filling in some of the roles of like the maybe the ranch hands who tend to your livestock or manage your wheat fields. And as such, because this is just the first title in the series, it sounds like they have confirmed that they are open to making another. Still sounds pretty early on at this point, and I think that was part of the plan from the get-go. If I recall the Kickstarter, they wanted to turn this into a series. Anyways, if you were a fan of the original Suikoden, this feels very much like Suikoden in a lot of ways. This is a game that was developed by PlayStation 1 RPG veteran and hero to the masses, Yoshitaka Murayama, that hasn't been making a ton of video games since they left. I know that they were involved in a few other things that I'm not familiar with. So I'm coming at this from the perspective of like a time capsule. Here is a person who was in their peak during PlayStation 1, coming out of a time capsule, making a brand new title for all of the fans, utilizing some of the new technology, but the same methodology that they used to create the originals. As such, there are some things that some people, if you're not really into retro RPGs, might balk at. Things like save points, things like limited inventory space are some of the criticisms that I've heard from some people. There are 3 difficulty modes. If you consider yourself a pro, you might want to play on hard, but if you just want to enjoy the story, play on easy. It is kind of a time capsule sort of a game that emulates or recreates a lot of the feel of Suikoden. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. They aren't making games like these anymore. They are not making developers like this anymore. In fact, they are disappearing at an alarming rate. So, for what it is, this game is incredible to someone like me, to someone with a pedigree in retro RPGs, to someone who really enjoys these sorts of things, who don't mind some of the tedium, but really that's not the word in my heart that I would use. It's the intricacies, but some people might refer to it as tedium. Uh, you know, I think that what it really comes down to is this game is for a certain kind of person, and if you know that you're that kind of person, you're gonna love this game. This isn't a game made for everyone. And I've said it before that the greatest games are not made for all people. The greatest games are going to be the ones who target a specific person and they're like, I'm going to make the greatest game possible for this kind of person. I don't know if this is the greatest game possible, but I know it's definitely targeting a specific kind of person, and I am within that cone that they're targeting. So I'm very much interested to see where this game goes from here. The combat is, if you're not using it the right way, it could be tedious or it could be very intricate. During boss fights, you're going to select your actions item by item, person by person for 6 different people. Um, that could be tedious, or it could be very intricate. It could be a very intricate dance. There's a lot of weighing things in and out, depending on like, ooh, do I want to use this combo that does some healing? Do I want to do this other thing? Do I want to use this special ability that I've been saving up my points for? Um, there's an intricate dance to boss fights that just isn't there for the average mob encounter. You're probably going to want to fight for a while manually while you get your hands wrapped around things and understand the system. But eventually, you're going to want to rely on auto battle. And it's not just auto battle, it is uh, almost like gambits in a way for those that are familiar with Final Fantasy 12, where you can, through the menu system, create your perfect battle plan. You can give people different conditions to perform different actions. So, like, oh, if somebody is under 50% hit points, then you are in charge of healing that person on your next turn. Um, so you can kind of set that auto battle. It would be nice if there were maybe 3 different auto battle settings that you could create, like different auto battle profiles. Would have been really nice. These aren't just chosen actions. These are conditions, that says like, conserve your resources, or go all out, or, you're going to focus on healing. You're going to focus on this kind of attack. Here's the kind of enemy that you'll target. It's really intricate and you could probably lose yourself for days in it. But honestly, you could also just leave it at the default settings and just let it rip. That would also probably work just fine. So you don't have to go out into the weeds, but you might want to. Auto battle through a lot of the basic mob encounters, maybe switch to manual mode if you start to find yourself getting your butt kicked. And just enjoy the experience of going out, collecting a bunch of different characters, fighting all kinds of critters, and yeah, the visuals are exactly what you would expect from all of the trailers. It is gorgeous. Can switch to Japanese audio. I feel like the English voice acting, at least from what I've experienced, is a little bit of a mixed bag. Some of it feels like it was recorded in somebody's home studio or somebody's home closet studio. The reasons for that are myriad, uh, not the least of which being there are over 100 different characters who probably needed some form of voice acting because of that. The fact that they were able to voice them all is pretty dang stellar, realistically. Um, Now, with 100 different characters, don't expect, a ton of character development, but I'm sure that there's going to be some follow-up stories for a lot of these characters that I'm very interested in. This is going to be one of those games that, even though I've made one video about it already, I'm making my first impressions video of it right now. This is definitely going to be the kind of video or the kind of game that I'll want to come back and play again or play through. Maybe when I'm done playing through Lufia 2 Rise of the Sinistrals, because this is one that's definitely on my bucket list now. I think that is about the best glowing review, first impressions that I can give at this point. It has firmly captured my imagination. It has incredible music that just gets me in the mood to play the game all the time. The visuals are stunning in my opinion, and is a beautiful iteration on a lot of what was experimented with in the HD 2D games that we've gotten so far. This is really nice, and I am very glad to hear that Rabbit and Bear Studios sound like they're going to be continuing along the path of making more games in this series. I really enjoyed Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, which was the tie-in prequel game that was a action RPG, side-scrolling action RPG. I highly recommend you check that out. I've got a video talking about it already. But that said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you will enjoy your time with Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. And I think next time we talk about this will be when I've finished the game and have a full set of thoughts for you. But until then, these are just my meandering musings, and I hope to see you then. Have a great day, everybody.